What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to Tour Life. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, and we are all back ready to recap everything that went down this past weekend at the Queen City Classic, playing a very fun course, Hornet's Nest. We've got local boy Yuli for all the deets, and Gary joining us as always. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Glad to be back on the pod. I missed the last couple of weeks. Sorry for that.
It's all good. Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
But back, weekend went well. Charlotte showed out. Let's
Crazy.
let's
Great
talk about that
crowds.
first, because I think that the USDG saying hangover was a real thing. And, having the tour championships right after that, we didn't get a lot of spectators that came out. And this time it shows, what Charlotte's all about. Like, we got people out there. It was amazing. The course, I think, is a way better stroke play course than match play, or the way that the tour championships played out, even though we had that fantastic, Cinderella story with Nathan Queen the last time that we played out there. But we had that little match play, I think it was last year, where Ezra won, and I don't think that was received as well. So it was really cool to see, a stroke play tournament out there. And I thought it went fantastic.
Gary, how was your week? Is his internet down? Oh boy, Gary, the crackle.
We're good. We're good.
We can hear you. Yeah. Can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah. We're good.
All
We're
right.
good. Sorry.
You're good. Yeah. I just asked how your week was.
Oh, week's been fine. Having a good time with it. It's the tomorrow I'm not looking forward to, because I got the second half of my root canal tomorrow, so it's gonna be great.
Oh no!
They only did half of it.
You do root canals in 2 appointments, because they gotta get the crown ordered. They gotta get everything.
Okay. Oh, they're not
the old.
Oh, they're operating on it both times.
No, the second time they take out the temporary one, and then they basically put the crown in and do all that stuff on the second trip.
I hate the dentist.
It's the worst place in the world.
I can't do the dentist. But yeah, no, I'm with you, Yuli. I think, we've talked about this before. I think doing back-to-back tournaments anywhere is challenging in the same area. And I think when you have one of the biggest tournaments being USDGC, one of the most well-received and most liked, followed up by a tournament that doesn't have that much history, the Tour Championship, one that seems like every year they're changing the format of how it's played and who gets in and everything. Like, yeah, if I'm someone and I really only can take off work 1 week, or I've got other things going on in my life that I can only really do 1 weekend, I'm picking USDGC every time over the Tour Championship. So I think what this did show, though, is it did show that these big hubs that we've talked about that are rich with disc golf, you can have an event early in the season there and then come back later and have a secondary event there later. And I think if they're spread out that way, I think you can do it. And, I think Hornet's Nest, I'm with you, Yuli. I think
it's going to become one of the favorites on tour. It's
watching it play stroke play.
Yeah.
And, some people might take offense to this a little bit. I think it's a better Idlewild.
Yeah, no, it can definitely get compared to Idlewild without a doubt.
I think that's what it is. I think it's got its open park style holes, and then it's got, it's tight wooded holes. And we can talk about the fairness and everything like that. And I love that they have Mandos on a lot of holes, a lot of Mandos out there. They maybe could even have even more if they wanted to. But I thought it played decently fair. Like, for the most part. Now with woods, you're always going to get some people throwing shots that are just off and get absolutely dominated. But from what I saw, I didn't really see too many people throwing great shots getting punished and too many people throwing bad shots that got rewarded. It didn't happen that often.
Yeah.
From what I saw. So I thought the course actually played great.
Yeah. I agree. Yuli, I was saying earlier, I think this is probably is it the toughest stretch that you guys have ever had as a start for the tour? Because you had Olympus to start out with, then you went to Parc des Familles, you have here at Hornet's Nest, and now you're going to New London next. Is that
Oh
the
yeah, it's brutal.
four courses?
It's murderer's row. I mean, it is tough. I mean, if you just look down the leaderboard and who, there's a lot of great players who miss cash at this tournament because,
Yeah.
you know, I said this to, I don't know who I was talking to, but I said, this place it's not surprising to me that the best score for the round was lower, being as like, as far, well, not lower. Okay, let me restart. The best round in New Orleans was like 10 under. What was it? 11 under, 10 under from Ricky.
Yeah.
Which one was it?
I think it was.
We didn't eclipse that mark here with perfect weather.
Yeah, no one got double digits.
And that's because it requires all shots,
Mm-hmm.
angles. It requires soft touch, annies, annie over stable, annie flippy, hyzer flip, force over power, dead straight power, putter shot into the green, like sidearm scramble, like not New London, in New Orleans. It was all power. It was throw it as hard as you can, as accurate as you could, then scramble as far as you could with
And hope it doesn't hit some trees.
Yeah, with as most accuracy as you could. And here it requires the full amount of game, and I think it was mentally a little more challenging as well because the fairways are so tight.
Yeah.
If you're off by a little bit, all of a sudden it might be worse than being off by a foot and hitting the tree solid. So that really gets in your head, and we saw that with a few players. Ricky Wysocki, the last round, catches a couple bad breaks, gets in your head. Hard to battle back from that on a course like this, to where there's something about playing a course, being off, and then being able to unload the anger and the frustration out on a drive, which you can do over in New Orleans. You can't do that here. As soon as you get super aggro aggressive, it's going to bite you.
Yeah, I was surprised by the stat when I saw it. There have only been 6 rounds this season so far, MPO and FPO combined, of double-digit under par.
Yeah, no, the courses have definitely been challenging to start, and I think a course like this one, putting tends to stay pretty consistent. If you're a great putter, you pretty much consistently putt well. If you're a poor putter, you over time you will putt poorly. It's not something that people tend to are very streaky. There's not that many guys on tour that are very streaky in that regard. Throwing, though, I think throwing is something that some people are really dialed some weeks, and some weeks they're not dialed at all. In a course like this, I think one of the reasons why we're seeing some really big names and some great players not do well, if you put them on a course that's open to where or even a course that's maybe wooded, but the gaps are 20 feet, 30 feet, not 10, 15, they're still going to get theirs, right? Even if they're having a bad throwing week, they're still good enough at putting that they're going to make a lot of putts. And what we saw here is if you throw bad, you don't have a chance for birdie on par threes. It's not like you're like, oh, I'm 60 feet now. It's like, no, you are scrambling to try to make par. And if you throw a bad tee shot on par fours, it seems also very challenging a lot of times to make birdie after a bad drive. And so I think that's where you can see people struggle out here, where some of the other courses we've played in the past, it's like no matter if you threw Ricky's name out there, there's certain courses that you're like, if Ricky plays bad, he's going to shoot 7 under. If he plays good, he's going to shoot 11. Like the gap is so much tighter. And here, I think the gap is much wider. Would you agree with that?
100%. And what I would like to see with a course like this to even make it better is different pin locations, because there is one thing at this course that really favors a certain shot, and it's a long sidearm. Like if you think,
I did see a lot of power sidearms.
There's a lot of power sidearms that play really well here. And by moving the pin from left to right during rounds, now you're gonna nothing changes with the tee shot because these holes are so dialed and they're so long. All it's gonna change is where's the fade at the end.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, I think we got a slam dunk at this course.
Yeah, I think that's where too you could, because maybe there are some holes that you really like where the pin is. That's where my idea of extending the tee pad and shifting players over to one side, forcing them to have to throw a backhand on Thursday or on Saturday. And then on Sunday, you move it back and then the forehand's open. Like moving, it was old hole 18. I don't know what it is now. What hole is that now?
It's like
14. No, it would be old 18 is 14. Yes.
14. Okay. So you guys were talking about it on commentary, how Gannon was electing to go forehand to try to stay away from those little trees on the left. Even though backhand is probably the more favorable shot there, he didn't like having those trees kind of pinched in a little bit. So he was going that flex forehand. And that's all I'm saying is like, if you just move things a little bit to make people on the tee pad be like, the forehand's kind of weird now, you might see players have to throw back in. But one thing I thought was very cool, and this is what Hornets Nest does, is you saw Evan Smith, Gannon Buhr, Calvin Heimberg, and Austin Turner. Now, Austin obviously is a lefty. Those guys very rarely ever threw the same shot off the tee. Like they were going backhand sometimes, forehand. Sometimes they're flexing forehands. Sometimes they're throwing turnover backhands. Like some of these courses we go to, you get up to a tee and it's like one shot after another. And it's just like, who can throw that shot the best? They're all throwing the same shot. This course, I saw so many different shots on every tee pad. I thought that was cool. I like that. It makes it tough.
Yeah.
It makes it real tough.
For example, 14, if you push it over to the left by the OB one round.
Yep.
Now it's a hyzer. You push it all the way in the corner, then it's a side.
Oh, yeah.
And you leave it straight. It's dealer's choice, just like it is right now.
I love that. I love that.
You get what I mean? Now there's no favorable shot. It's round to round to round. You're gonna have to have some sort of different shot. And the same can be said for the one before the gauntlet, the one before the really tight one up the hill with the tight Mando on the left. Right before that, that's a sidearm hole. That's a power sidearm hole. There's no getting around it.
Okay.
We saw a couple people throw it straight, but you're playing for a 45-footer.
Yep.
Now, if you put it right one round, straight one round, and left, now all of a sudden you have a variety of things that you have to do. You know what I mean?
Even the little island hole. The little island hole. Sunday, put that pin, put that basket like.
I mean, it is in a hard where it is in a very, very, very hard spot.
Couldn't you move it 10 feet more to the right? Couldn't you move it 10 feet more to the right?
No, not really.
No, that's too far on the line.
It's already really close. But what you could do is leave it where it is, and then we play the short pad, and then you can move the basket back on the backside of the island or way left. And then for the final round, you can go to that tough tee.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like the idea of not getting not having players, and this is what we see a lot of times when it gets windy one day, is now all of a sudden you have to start second guessing yourself. Like, is this the right shot? Is this the right disc? I think getting players different shots each day, I think we would see a crazy outcome, a much more dramatic outcome, because
everything has to be dialed at that point. Now we're talking about a full game, and you can do that on a lot of holes. And par 3, you can turn a par 4 into a par 3 really easy. Let's say hole 17. Move the basket, make it a par 3 to the left by the fence, and now it's you have to have a pushing flip up hyzer. Super difficult, right? Super difficult shot.
That's the hook at the end there, where they have to get down to the bridge, Brody, and then they have to go up past the 3 trees.
See, I don't love changing 4s to 3s though, or 3s to 4s. I don't love that idea, but I know what you're saying.
Shaping is all I'm saying. That forces you to where.
I think this course has the ability to do that.
That's all I'm saying. is it has the ability
It's
to
flexible.
switch it very flexible from shot to shot and keeps everybody kind of uncomfortable, which I would love to see because it already does that. But if we could even get it a little better, now you got a place that's going to stay tough forever.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the What'd you think of the change up moving hole 4 to now hole 18? Because the old hole 18, you kind of had an area there where it felt like spectators could gather, but this one, I liked it because it became so much more consequential what you did.
Yeah, this is a
great. This 18's awesome.
Yeah, the finishing stretch here is ridiculous. It's great. That island is so good. It's so good with that. That is such a tough shot. 17 in that position is so tough. I wouldn't change the layout that they have right now. I would leave for the final round. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'd switch it up a little bit in between rounds and leave because the course that they have set up right now it's great. I mean, Gannon doesn't have a crazy lead. He takes a 6 on the island. This is a
I don't think he takes a 6 on the island if he doesn't have a crazy lead.
How do you know? What is he?
It seemed like he kind of was getting. He seemed like he was kind of getting bored.
Brody, pulled that a little bit off the tee.
There's no way to just be like, I got this shot dialed. This is a shot that when nerves are up, it's not a guarantee.
No, I agree with you. I am
you could
saying
catch a bad break and take a 6.
I am saying Gannon's game did look kind of weird the last couple. He's going to be on here in a few minutes. We did try to get Jessica on as well. She won't be able to make it tonight. Maybe next week. He'll be on. We'll ask him because it seemed like he kind of, which he normally doesn't do. He's normally pretty good at locking in the entire round, whether he's up by 10 or it's a one shot lead. Did anyone else feel like he did kind of like switch off I don't know. No. It just seemed like he kind of switched it off for a little bit.
I didn't feel that.
I don't know. I don't
he has played poorly the last 3 holes.
Dude, the last 3 holes are the hardest holes.
17 threw a good shot. 17
the last 3 holes are the hardest holes.
Okay. I'm just saying it seemed like it didn't seem like he was as dialed in.
Well, yeah,
as the previous
6.
round.
It's gonna feel that way.
Okay, some people in the chat are seeing what I'm saying, so thank you. I'm not crazy when I was watching. I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him.
If someone takes 6, this guy's kind of doesn't care at this point. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not that he doesn't care. I just think kind of he took his foot off the gas.
He did have like this little grin.
He was smiling before the shot. That was weird. That's what I'm saying. It was kind of weird.
That was a little bizarre.
Yeah.
And
there's a weird situation.
I got you. I hear what you're saying.
Now, I did see some people complaining that X amount of holes, I don't know how many it was, but X amount of holes got like the crazy, in their opinion, this is kind of what they're trying to portray is like 40 plus or 50% of the field got pars on 10 holes or 11 holes. I don't know the exact stat. Gary, did you see? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, someone said it was like more than 45% pars on like 10, I think like 10 or 11.
A couple people I saw talking about it. I saw a clip. I don't know if Brian Earhart said it on some podcast. So they were kind of complaining about that. I don't really understand what the complaint is because just saying that one stat, that doesn't tell me everything. If you told me 45% of the field got pars on 10 holes and got birdies, like the other 60% were birdies, then I'd say like, yeah, we have a problem. We have 10 holes you're either birdieing or parring. Just telling me that 10 holes, half the field got pars on it. Well, if 25% of the field birdied it and 20% bogeyed and 5% doubled or worse, that's a great hole.
Yeah,
par is the score that the majority of people.
This course is great on every hole except for maybe like 3 holes.
But do people not understand? Par is the score that should, on average, be what the majority score.
Yeah,
like if you play a hole and like you'd say 50% of the people got double bogeys on this hole, then I'd be like, okay, the par is probably wrong, or there's something wrong with the hole.
Yeah,
but trying to say that's a bad course because 10 of the holes, half the field par. You gotta tell me all the stats. I need to know all the stats.
It's fifth. So 15 of the holes had a par percentage of over 40, but there were 12 holes that had a par percentage of over 50%. But of all those holes, the only one that had a really janky would be like hole 8 is 63%, hole 14 is 68% pars, and then
and that's our finishing hole. That's a great hole in the last few tournaments. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
14 was
20%.
hole 18.
Yeah, 20% birdie, 68% pars, 12% bogey. But most of the time you're seeing numbers here of like 20 to 25, and then in the 50s, and then the other side. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, we just gotta try to shy away. And yeah, I mean that hole 14 is a really fun hole to look at, and I agree with Yuli. I think it would be a fun hole for them to mess around with where the basket is on that hole.
Got a lot of room.
I think they could also mess around with the OB.
100%.
So like
if you move
one
it right,
day,
then
yeah,
it can
tighten
be
it
tight.
up. Yes, I like that a lot. All right, Gannon says he's going to be joining here in about 10 minutes or so. So let's try to go through before he comes on, because obviously we have some questions for him. Let's talk about some of the things that we saw this past week that stuck out. I'll kind of roll through my big storylines or things that I kind of noticed, and then you guys, jump in whenever and say what you guys want if I left anything out. So, hole 1 announcer. I think disc golf is trying to figure out what to do. I think some tournaments go way overboard with doing stuff that's like really, really, what the kids are saying, cringe, I guess you can say. Yeah. I love this hole 1 announcer.
He was awesome.
I'm completely awesome. Fine with the enthusiastic name calling of players to the tee. I like that. I think that was great. I thought it got the energy going. Hole 1, not the greatest hole. Again, I don't love par 3s to start. I never have, never will. But it's not bad hole. It's not a bad hole.
I want him to move that back. There is a back tee that we used to play across the street, but that's probably why we don't play, is because they can't close that road down. So you go back there, and then it's a shot to where that tee is.
That's a great par 4,
and it's it's an easy par 4, but it kind of gets you set going into the round. And it's pretty easy, but I do like that one, and you can make it really tough as well. Like there's bogeys. But this hole 1, I mean, the stroke separation on that was probably
it's a great hole. It's just my thing of
not a great hole 1.
I like a par 4 to start, where everyone gets off the tee, launches their drives, and then you're off. It's always kind of awkward when you get announced and then you like shank one OB.
Sidearm. And I'm not a big fan of starting holes where it's one shot is really the shot, like as far as like I want the crowd to see some shot shaping, like imagination.
Yeah, and everyone gets to walk down the fairways. We'll see.
But it's a good hole. I mean,
it is a good hole. It is a goal. I'll give you that. We talked about earlier the crowds. From what I saw online, the crowds, you were there, Yuli. Crowds look great.
Yeah.
A lot of people showed up for this one. I don't know what the numbers look like online of like how many people are tuning in and watching.
They said that the last time that they had the tournament here, they tripled that. So like the Pro Tour Championships when Nathan Queen won.
Oh, they tripled.
Tripled.
Wow. This weekend, 3 times. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Great to see.
And I talked to a ton of people vending that were saying, yeah, man, I flew in from, New Jersey. I flew in from here. I flew almost everybody, not everybody, but almost everybody who would talk to me, because obviously they're coming up to talk to me because we haven't met before, all the locals there. I met a lot of them. And so most of the interactions that I had were from people who are traveling from all over the place, which was really cool. It wasn't all just Charlotte people showing up. There was a lot of destination travelers to come here and watch.
I don't know if this guy's asking a question or making a statement. He says there was like 75 people there when Gannon finished his round. I don't know if that's actually a statement or a question, because he does exclamation mark, but he also has question marks. Here's the thing though. I wouldn't be that surprised if there weren't that many people there.
It was over.
That's just sports in general.
Yeah.
Is when when you're at an NFL game and it's a blowout going into the fourth quarter. I mean, the fans start leaving.
Yeah. Oh, we were at the Hornets
People
game
leave.
doing a thing this last week. Pardon me, and
beat traffic.
I left in the third quarter. We were up by like 30 points. I'm like, all right.
Now, if this was
a beat the traffic,
Yeah, if this was a major, if this was someone
was
also
cold too, kind of dark.
But if it's also someone like dominating for the first time, maybe winning for like even if they're going to win by 5, if it was their first time, like this, unfortunately, this is just what it is. And the only thing that would really necessarily change this is if Gannon Buhr like turns into like the Tiger Woods of where everyone's just like, I want to watch this. I want to watch this guy.
He's getting there.
And he's getting close. Much. He's getting close to it. So
it's getting close.
Okay. I also made a note of this. Evan Smith laying up on hole 18. That was something that stuck out to me. You might, you were there, you played, you might be like, there's absolutely 0% chance he could ever get up and down from where he was. I was interested in that play because he basically just said, I want to get second place and I'm okay tying for second. And I'm just curious if that's a different player there, do they try to go for it there? Or
no, there's
no way of getting up and down from there.
There's not a way to run it because he'd have to make it, and he threw the same shot the previous round and went out of bounds.
Okay.
He was almost in the exact same spot. He caught a horrible reaction off the fence, rolled over to his spot that he was. He didn't just throw it there too. And the previous round, he went for it like this super high spiking hyzer, and he caught the trees and it went out of bounds. So
okay,
there, and Gannon being up as many as he was, Gannon could just chuck it out of bounds, put it underneath, and then leave.
Well, it was
the
more,
only way.
It was more to get second by himself.
Yeah, no, and I'm fine with that because they split the points. That's a lot of points.
Yeah. Well, that was my question. If it was someone that. If it was a Ricky Wysocki, Calvin Heinberg.
I think he lays up too. I think everybody lays up there.
That's why I didn't know if it was a situation of like, hey, I'm in a really good spot to make a lot of money
if you're
and get
not
a lot
first,
of points.
Last, right?
Yeah. Evelina's putting is not fixed, guys.
45% from C1X.
Didn't get a chance to see it.
No one saw it. I don't think she was on that much coverage. I looked up the stats each day because we picked her in Pick'em. So I was paying attention to where our picks were. And putting has not been fixed.
Tied for last at the event in FPO.
Wait, in last place?
Last place in putting percentage.
Oh, I was like, what?
Yeah. Worst putter of the event, technically.
I mean, that's not probably the first time she's done that.
Yeah,
probably.
And Hannah was right next to her. Both Hannah and Evelina right there.
We thought the Instagram video was the solution.
Yeah.
That just shows you everything can be edited.
Or just as a competition thing. Like you could be sitting at home, even on camera.
It's a mental.
It's competition. Yeah, she's a finger waggler, right, Yuli?
I mean, I'm also if I'm putting if I'm like, hey, I want to post something of me putting, and I start and I clank the first 5, I'm probably resetting and restarting. I'm probably not posting that, even if I make the next 5. That's what I'm just saying is like you could kind of sit there and wait until you have a good batch and then be like, hey guys, watch out. And she fooled me. She fooled me. I got fooled. Some other things I've got. Cat Merch really struggled with the upshots. I mean, she had this tournament. If she could just get up and down from like inside of 150 feet, 200 feet, she had this tournament.
Yeah.
And, it was obviously the final upshot on 18 tough. That sucks to like throw that one OB. And that's a huge mistake. The one thing you can't do there is go long. The one thing. You got to give yourself a chance. But like there was also like 2 or 3 leading into that weren't that great. So I don't know if this is something that she's always struggled with down the stretch, her upshots, but they weren't great. But she was right there for the win. And then the last note that I have is why didn't Own try to throw in on 18 to force a playoff?
Maybe she did.
Maybe she didn't know about it.
Like what like in what situation would you not try to throw in on 18 to force a playoff?
Maybe she didn't know that
these people don't look at scores.
So that's the only situation we think is viable, is like she didn't know the score.
I would hope.
Because if you knew
we've seen her try to throw in before. So like
that's what I'm saying. If you knew the score, you try to throw that in, right? Even if you take a double, you try to throw that in no matter what. No matter who you are too. Is that also another one?
Especially her. She's already racked up like 5 A-tier wins and a Pro Tour win. I don't think she cares if she gets fourth.
Yeah. A couple people have some good points in here. Ella, people were talking about if she would have just shot 1 under, she would have tied. Yeah. She really, really struggled. Had a really tough day. And we'll get into Jessica's round here probably once we get off of Gannon. But really impressive performance. And really, honestly, it was one of those where like no one was really paying attention to Jess. She kind of just had a nice little run there towards the end, and everyone else kind of faded away.
Made a good putt on 18.
Holy
cow.
That was a nerve-wracking putt. Putt. And just cashed it in. Anything else I missed on big storylines? Anything jump out at you guys?
Cadence Bird situation was pretty interesting, having a DNF like 15 minutes before the final round because of her back. She was up there. Arguably, she was going to be in contention for the event, maybe playing well enough to win. But that second round, you could see every time she bent over to grab her mini, she was like wincing afterwards, walking away from it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that is massively different in disc golf than other sports. Is we see a lot of players try to play through things because they just don't know. Like there's not really well, I mean, I don't. What is the situation there right now, Yuli? If you
don't have access to that stuff. You don't.
If you're banged up, you don't have anyone.
Yeah, not really. No.
Yeah.
So
So
you don't.
so it's like you can't really have like a in tennis you can have a trainer, an athletic trainer come out and like tell you what's going on. Like, yes, this is something that you can play through, or if you, I would advise you to stop. And I think that is something tough, and especially when you start talking about some of these younger people that don't really have maybe the best world experience. They might not know either what they should do. And the worst thing we could see is someone put their future career at risk by trying to push through an injury. So I am glad she decided to DNF and not try to push through it, because getting things healthy is the most important thing versus maybe finishing a top 10 or a top 5 or something at a tournament. So anything else that jumped out at you guys other than, obviously we're going to talk to Gannon here in a second, but was there anything else?
The production was really solid this weekend, and just call out our man Yuli here with one of the coolest production packages. That like preview you did of the island and the finishing stretch of the course, that was, I think, one of the more well-crafted things we've seen come out of the Pro Tour and DGN. That was really nice.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that was fun. We got that done in like 15, 20 minutes too. Bang, bang, bang. It was awesome.
You said something too. I almost wrote it down, but I was like, and now I'm forgetting it. I wish I wrote it down. You said something on Jomez that made me laugh. It was just a one word. I don't even remember what it was. Gosh darn it. Maybe someone in chat can help me. But it was one of the times where I like laughed out loud. Gosh, I'll have to rewatch it and see what it was, but I'll give you kudos to that, even though I don't know what it was, Yuli. You made me laugh out loud. It was
All
good
right,
stuff.
thank you.
It was good stuff.
That's what we that's what the post production's all about. Make it feel a little more homey over there.
Paul wants to know what keeps you interested in disc golf? Do you enjoy I enjoy watching. Obviously, the bigger the tournaments, the more enjoyable for sure. I love coming on here and talking disc golf with these guys too. Just because you don't necessarily, you're not out there playing it and stuff doesn't mean that you don't still enjoy it. I still enjoy the flight of a disc.
Yeah.
And this tournament, honestly, the MPO side, they're both interesting in different points. The MPO side, we really got to see some amazing shots, which was really cool. And watching like Austin do it left-handed, I think was also really, really cool to see. And then on the FPO side, just seeing the chaos at the end, that was also kind of fun.
That's my favorite thing to watch. I think
Yeah,
watching FPO more than anything, because you just have no clue. Man, a couple great shots down the stretch can win you the tournament. Like a couple.
Yeah.
There was like 4 people. Holland could have won.
There were 4 different leaders at one point.
Missy could have easily won.
Yeah.
Ella could have won. I mean, Ella would have had to change a lot of things the final round, but she still could have won if she would have had like a better day.
If Silva birdies hole 18, she's at 10 under, so she's one stroke off too.
Yeah, Silva. Yeah. No, it was very, very interesting down the stretch. I mean, I guess we can talk a little bit about Jessica Weiss a little bit while we wait for Gann to come on. I was curious. Do you guys know if this was her first win? She's won. This is her third win. What?
2018, she was her last win.
She's
Beaver
won
State Fling.
She's won 3 times, but was this her first win off of chase card? Has she always won on lead card?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Let me see.
What's the 3 that she's won? I'm curious. I know it was the first one was Beaver State Fling.
2018, she won. Was it Ledgestone? It was Ledgestone in 2018.
Ledgestone. Okay.
Yeah.
2017 Ledgestone.
She's gone years in between wins too.
Yeah.
Would you say it was 2017,
2018 Ledgestone?
2018 Ledgestone. Okay.
Yeah, there's no way she was on the chase car for that one, because her and Sarah Hokum were 5 and 7 strokes above the entire rest of the field. So
okay. Yeah, I'm assuming this is probably her first time. I was curious to see how different that is.
Rewind that, because was that the year where it was stroke and distance for everything? And I think she was on lead card, but I think there was like 12s and 11s taking place on the same card. I think maybe she even had some big time. Like that was the craziest.
It was just survival.
No, I'm not kidding. Like 12s and 11s, multiple people.
Oh, this was the stroke and distance at Ledgestone.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not sure about this one, because she played, her rounds were really solid coming down the stretch. What hole was that? That wasn't at Sunset for them, was it?
No, I'm talking the whole course. It was the whole course.
They played everywhere.
I'm probably thinking of an earlier tournament. I just remember whoever won was like, it was just like, who didn't take a 12?
Gotcha.
So the other thing I have too, I guess FPO wise, was anyone surprised that Holland didn't try to go birdie on 18?
Well,
or was that in the same kind of spot?
Yeah,
she was OB. She was OB there in that little thing. So,
well, it's a par 5.
Yeah, I know.
So she could still get up and down for birdie.
Yeah. I think the position she was in though she was way too far right to be able to have any kind of.
Yeah, once you get under those trees, you don't have much.
Which kind of makes that hole kind of good.
It's really good.
Makes that hole. All right, Gannon's in the house. Let's bring him on here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
Yo.
The champ is here. Gannon, welcome to the show. First off, What'd you think of these intros? Did you like the intro on hole one?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I feel like
To get
there's
you hyped?
uh I don't think it really matters for me, but I definitely like to hear louder cheers from the crowd. I mean, I'm not going to name any specific events, but there's definitely a couple events on tour where the starters are just like they just hate their life and they don't want to be there, and there's just like from Iowa, Gannon Buhr, and they like get quiet. It's like, well, that's boring. So, but I mean, it was cool. He did a really good job of hyping up the crowd beforehand. Even that, I'm not sure if they even caught that on coverage. So, I was cool with it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. I thought it also like you said, it kind of sets the tone for the crowd of like, oh, we can get into it. We can get excited. We can make some noise. I don't
Sets
think
the tone for the whole round, you know.
Yeah, of course. And I thought the crowd, I mean, obviously it was kind of like a blowout. So it's tough. It's tough to get like the rip roaring crowds. But I thought the crowds were still good throughout. So that was good to see. 9-0 now with a 3-shot lead. Is this something that you have paid attention to? Did you know this stat going into Sunday, or now everyone's talking about it? Is it going to be something that's going to be on your mind the next time you're going into a Sunday with a three shot or more lead?
I believe that might be incorrect, actually.
Oh,
I'm pretty
people have
sure.
the stat
I'm pretty
wrong.
sure I had 3 on Drew Gibson when he beat me at Vegas.
This is in the last 2 years, I think, is the
Okay.
stat, Brody. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a lame stat. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Well, then in that case, it's probably true then.
Yeah, X-nay that stat. I hate when people do stats like that where they just cherry pick numbers to make it.
Yeah.
They want
So
to.
You stop it. You
actually
stop
a
it right
total-
before the tournament. That
Yeah, so you're a
that-
choke artist.
You're a
So
total
choke artist.
jokester, dude.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah.
big choke artist. What a scam.
Yeah.
You got Evelina tricking me, and now you are tricking me.
The phone.
Okay. I want to jump into, well, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
Back-to-back wins. It looks like you've kind of left off where you were last year, just winning pretty much the majority of tournaments you play in. Great time also to be playing some great disc golf with Champions Cup coming up. I guess first question is, how are you feeling going into Champions Cup? Of course, New London, that you have had some difficulties in the past.
Yeah. Last year, I was going through a lot of stuff and wasn't really able to go, get sufficient practice in there, and was just like mentally and physically exhausted. So that definitely played a really big role in how I played that weekend. It's not my favorite course either, but I think I'm just going to probably take the momentum I've had these last couple weeks. I mean, we played a lot of shot shaping courses and wooded golf in this first part of the tour, so I think it should translate pretty well. I've been saying like I want to get these wins early because I feel like tend to play better on a slightly more open course. So if I can get the wins on the wooded courses early, I think it's going to give me an even better chance at the more open courses. But I mean, I think the times you do play bad at a tournament the year before, sometimes it's okay because you can always know that you can make a huge improvement the next year.
Yeah. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about hole number 2 real quick. So on Jomez, Big Germ was on commentary and he said that the disc that you were using for hole 2 got scuffed up to the point of where you had to put a new disc in. And when you say like I'm putting a new disc, are you going out to the field and throwing this like a dozen times before the round, or are you throwing it once or twice and being like, yep, that'll work, and then you're getting to that hole, throwing it for your third time? Like how many times are you throwing it when you have to put a new disc in your bag mid-tournament?
Yeah, well, for that scenario, I actually just took the disc out of my bag and then used a different driver.
Oh, okay.
So this week I've been experimenting with trying to replace that slot, which is actually going to be fairly difficult. So, yeah, I only have a couple more of them that are okay. None of them are really. That was like my last really good one. So I'm gonna gonna have to do definitely some field work to get that figured out. But yeah, I just use my intuition, and obviously I know how my frisbees fly. I'm maybe the most in tune on tour with how my discs fly. So I was able to just change the angle with a different disc. I went PD2 instead of cloud breaker, and yeah, we worked out, got the birdie.
So you would never put a new piece of a new plastic in your bag and throw it mid tournament. You would always just throw another disc you currently have on a slightly different angle.
Yeah, the only time I would do that, it would be maybe like a slower speed disc, or like a I've done it before where I've thrown like some PD2s that are extremely, like, just insanely overstable, like almost unusably overstable, and I use those at like Maple Hill on the over the water shots and stuff like that because I don't really care about losing it. But it's still like it's only gonna do one thing. It's only gonna be really overstable. So that is a time where I would do that, where like I actually wouldn't even need to throw it in practice. I could literally just take it from the stash, brand new, and I know exactly how it's going to fly. But if it ever has any amount of flip or any amount of like glide or pushing flight, definitely is going to have a lot of work in the field.
Yeah, a little finicky there. What was the reasoning for going that forehand gap on hole 12? It seemed like everyone was going down the middle gap and with a backhand, and you went to the left. What was it that made you make that decision?
Yeah, I feel like we don't throw that shot at all at any point on the course. I only threw one backhand approach shot the entire week, and I almost didn't do it because I hadn't done it yet. That was on the par five. So I try to stay away from shots that are going to feel a bit uncomfortable. And for me, like that type of a shot, it's kind of either like a soft fairway driver, nose up flex, or like a mid range like stall shot. And we just don't like have that on the rest of the course. So I try to stay away from that and stick to my strengths. I throw a lot of forehands out there. I actually throw more forehand tee shots than I do backhands on that course. And I mean, it worked really well in the match play championship. I parked it multiple times in practice, had no problem with it. And honestly, part of the problem, we had a couple of backups on that hole, and it just you get loose or you get tight. I mean, you wait 20 minutes to throw that tee shot, and then it's like, well, I don't think it matters which gap I'm taking. I'm probably going to shank it anyway. So, but I think for me, I feel a lot more comfortable if I'm ever questioning forehand or backhand. I almost always choose forehand just because you can look where you're throwing, and if I throw a bad forehand, I'm like, well, that sucked, but whatever. If I throw a bad backhand, I'm always like, well, should have thrown forehand. So, kind of just like a mindset thing, I guess.
When did you make the jump in distance on your forehand? I know that was something that we've kind of discussed on the podcast in years past of how you wanted to have a bigger forehand, have a little bit more distance. I'm watching you on some of these holes out there, and I'm trying to think like who do I think can consistently throw forehand farther than you now? And I think you're in that upper echelon of distance for your forehand. When did that happen? When did you all of a sudden say, "Whoa, snap! I got a little more power here"?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've had a pretty powerful forehand the last 3 years, but I would say this year I'm more comfortable actually putting the power behind the forehand
Throwing
and not worried about it getting squirrely on me. I was throwing it on hole 14, which is like 485, and I was
That's the
getting
hole that I was like, "Dang, all right."
yeah, I was getting it there. I wasn't even throwing full power. I was kind of using more of a controlled run up and then really making sure I exploded into the shot at the end of the release point. Uh, I just feel like, I mean, a lot of it I think has to do with like my discs, honestly, with Discmania. They have some of the best forehand discs, I think, in my opinion, in terms of like just line shaping, feel, glide, distance. So I feel like that's helped me a lot. At Prodigy, I didn't really have much of that. So I think just as the time has gone on, I've just been so much more comfortable with it. And I know it's a skill that I wanna achieve. My goal for every skill set is to be the best at everything. And I think that's, you know, part of it is you have to break it out in tournaments and start doing it consistently, or you're not gonna ever have it.
Yeah, your forehand scrambling, that was another thing I want to tip the cap to you. That was something that I thought in your game, if there was a weakness or there was something that you could get better at, it'd be like being more comfortable throwing from different angles when you're scrambling. Because if you're always just throwing from the same release point, you're going to have less options. And watching you this past week on a course that you're going to have to scramble a lot, you're going to have to throw some really interesting forehand up shots. it seemed like you were just super comfortable with the disc in your hand. And it was like you made up your decision, you made up your mind. And I mean, you were just executing those shots down the stretch in that final round. And it just really made it to where you could kind of just coast in for the win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think part of what I did really good this last weekend was not really getting myself. I was going through my head. I'm like, I don't think there was one time during the entire event where I found myself in trouble in terms of in the woods. And that means like hitting first available, kicking to a really rough lie where like crap, there's no way out. All my shots, I'd hit the first couple gaps very purely, and then if I hit something 500 feet down the fairway, who cares? I'm so far down the fairway where you should almost always be able to get up and down from 200 feet, even if you're in a horrible spot. So I think I did a really good job of just not even having that be a question. I think that's why the win. I don't want to seem cocky, but it felt a little easy this week. I just didn't really find myself in bad positions at no point. I was kind of just like, getting a par, birdie, 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 kind of that smooth golf where you're just slowly racking up under par strokes while, every other hole someone might be hitting first available and taking a random bogey. I was just able to avoid that extremely well, except for the, kind of island hole debacle at the end there. I took a triple, but that was kind of just like that, I wasn't too concerned about it at the moment.
So there was some chatter too about how this course might have favored some of the local boys. We saw a lot of guys that lived or have lived in these areas play really, really well. And if you look at the leaderboard, there are some names that we don't typically see week in and week out. Now, we have seen some of these guys. We've seen Raven Newsom, Evan Smith, Jake Mons popped off. We've seen these guys pop off at tournaments. But you're kind of up there, an Iowa boy. Like, are you believing any of this? Of like, there was like a little bit of advantage to maybe some of the local guys.
I mean, the woods are very similar, probably kind of in the Carolinas, and that maybe even in the Tennessee. I mean, my guy Harper played really well as well, but I also feel like a lot of those guys we named are also very, I think, forehand and backhand dominant. They have everything, all the whole skill set. Raven has a good forehand and a good backhand, and so does Evan Smith. So I think, and myself as well. I think it was really key out there. I mean, like I said, I threw 10 forehand tee shots, so I think that's part of it. I mean, I guess to me, it's never really made sense why some people play really well in their home state or their home area, because like that's not really the case for me. I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I mean, we even saw it in like
kind of an
Louisiana.
anomaly. You kind of play good everywhere, so it's
Your
like
game travels, as they say.
Yeah. That's where it's kind of like it's interesting looking at the leaderboard, because people were talking about how a lot of the big names struggled here, and I was like, yeah, but the problem is the one guy did, like, if you would have finished like 15th, then there could have been like a really interesting conversation of like, what was with this course that our top 5 were Raven Newsom, Evan Smith, Jake Mon, Harper Thompson, and Casey White. Like, what's going on? But you kind of break that because you just won. So it's not like,
yeah. I mean, I think I've had a lot of experience out here. Surprisingly enough, I played the Tour Championship in 2021. I played, I think, 3 rounds in that tournament there. Obviously played practice rounds before that. And then we played it for the match play championship last year. And I think I either would have tied or would have won if we would have been stroke play. Obviously, Ezra beat me in the head-to-head, but overall, I was playing really well for the tournament there. And I kind of got to experiment a little bit with the match play in November, because I was just like full sending. I was going super aggressive on like every hole, and I kept the same game plan this week and it worked. So I think I just had a lot of confidence going into it. I've played plenty of competitive rounds out here where I know like Isaac had never even played Hornets Nest before. So I've seen it for 5 years now. So I think that's part of it, and I also just enjoyed the course, and I think it suits every part of my game. I know people will definitely look at me more of like an open golfer, but like, not gonna lie, like coming into the tournament, I was pretty confident I was gonna win just because of how comfortable I feel out here.
Yuli, is Hornets Nest the closest we have to like a Masters of where it's like, oh, you're playing Hornet's Nest for the first time? Pff,
I mean, that's probably
good
Maple
luck.
Hill.
Maple
Yeah.
Hill,
I bet that's probably the closest.
where you have to play it a couple times before you can actually kind of learn how to play it.
Yeah, it definitely has spots where you need some knowledge, some where the turns are and how far it is, and different ways to play holes. I mean, coming down the stretch when you go the last like six holes or something, you have that weird little sidearm. I forgot what hole that is. I think it's 10. Is that right? Hole 9. Hole 9. No, 10.
Of tournament or course layout?
I'm probably thinking course layout because I played there so much. It's right after the big long par 4. So wide open par 4, bends straight to the right.
Yeah. I was
Like
going
that.
like forehand flippy fairway
That's
driver.
one that you really have to practice and understand,
sure.
like where the turn is, what flip your mid range is if you're throwing backhand, and then you go to the next hole, and that's just like a gauntlet, man. You have to have a perfect disc that pushes dead straight and then turns at the right time, or if you're throwing backhand, you have to have a disc that doesn't turn at all in any direction, and then right after that, the same thing. So it has these holes to where I think that's where the local knowledge kind of comes in, is a lot of these North, South Carolina, Tennessee, like he's saying, people who play predominantly in the woods, they have these discs that they have to throw all the time. Casey White, plays in Massachusetts. That's a lot of woods golfing, and you have to have that perfect disc that flips up and rides straight for 400 feet. And so I think that's probably where the, those players kind of had an advantage on the field.
Dude, if disc golf tournaments were one round,
Casey wins everything.
Casey White might be the greatest.
Flex start champion
of all time.
Flex start monster.
Insane. All right, I have 2 more questions for you, Gannon, and then I'll let Yuli and Gary have at it. If you had to pick between these 2, you have to pick one. Did you win this tournament because you dominated the field, or did you win this tournament because everyone struggled more than you did?
Oh, that's such a tough one. I don't know. I mean,
just say it. Just say what you want to say.
Speak your truth.
Honestly, I think it's both. I mean, I wasn't really getting pushed, but at the same time, I think I was the only person to go 6 down on the front 9, and I did it 3 times. So that definitely, I mean, if you actually, I think if you just took my front 9s.
Yeah, there's only 2 people that would have beat you.
Yeah, I would have lost to second by 1 stroke if I just had my front 9s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that with that information, I'd probably have to go that the other one or whatever the option was, I played really good. But I also feel like, I mean, AB, I didn't even hear really about him. Ricky, I know, had a rough finish. Calvin kind of had a rough final round. Macbeth wasn't able to play. So, and Ezra Robinson, sorry, buddy, but he had a rough one. And it feels good. Get some revenge on that match play.
Yeah, Isaac struggled too. Yeah.
And Isaac said that it was like he told me he loved it. He's like, this is one of my favorite places that I've ever played.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone likes the course.
Yeah. Are you excited about coming back?
Yeah, I want to have. Well, I played Nevin today for fun. I want to have a major, like 2 rounds at Nevin, 2 rounds at Hornet's Nest. Or I want to come back every single year. I love this.
Not Nevin. Come on.
Which one's better in your opinion, Nevin or Hornet's Nest?
Ooh.
I think Nevin is more of a challenge, but I think Hornet's Nest is a better course.
Nevin films terribly.
I know.
Nevin, there's
very bad. Yeah.
Half the holes on Nevin, you have no idea as a spectator what's going on.
Yeah. You have to be a player to literally know what's going on.
Even sometimes as a player, you still don't even know. Is that good? Is that?
Shout out to the local crew too, who actually did clear out spectator spots and walking paths and stuff to give people, a way to get in there and be able to see, because that's been kind of a knock on Hornet's Nest as well, is because it's a wooded track, so it's hard to get in there and spectate.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job of clearing out a couple spots.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, my final question is this. if ratings didn't exist, would you have laid up on hole 18?
That is a really good question.
I know Yuli wants to know the answer as well.
Of course he would. He would have for sure.
I don't know. I don't know if I would. I mean, the ratings definitely are very enticing. To me, how I look at it is, yeah, that the rating. It's different if I was up 3 strokes. If I was up 3 strokes, I probably would have laid it up. But I was up 4, so I could have hit rolled OB and still laid up in 1. But at the end of the day, like, I'm just trying to play 3 rounds, the best disc golf I can be, and I'm not going to lay up a 25-footer that's wide open with no wind.
That is Yuli's biggest pet peeve, by the way.
Well, then people need to step up. You know what I mean?
No, I can't stand that a rating system could actually.
Yeah, I mean,
it is crazy. It is
Like,
crazy
that's
that you
insane
get
to me.
penalized. You get
Well,
penalized for.
I had to run it because the ratings next week are horrible.
No, I like it, but I'm just saying. Think about how silly that is. To where the best player that we have is it might be a small percentage of him being like, "Nah, I need to make this." That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Well, that's why I like the match play, because I also love the go through events.
He would change the way he plays if there was no ratings. He would just go full send all the time. That's insane, dude.
I would play. I'd probably play, especially if I have strokes to play with. I'd probably play a little more aggressive or do some more fun shots. That's why I always loved. I mean, I played a couple of the go through events last year, and there's no consequences. You just have fun. Who cares? More exciting disc golf.
Well, it reminds me a little bit about watching like road races, like running races, of where like the pros, they don't really care what their times are the majority of the time. They just care whether or not they're winning or get second or third. So it'd be like a pro in the lead by like 30 seconds, and then they're just sprinting in, like head down, just sprinting into the finish line, everyone being like, what the heck is wrong with this person?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends what your goals are. Maybe for a racer, like they want to break a certain time. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, for sure. There's definitely times where they go for like world records. And
there's
stuff.
a reason why you're doing it. It's just
that's what I'm saying. A lot of times they don't have a like. There's no difference in them finishing a marathon in 2:07 or 2:08 if they're winning. So like if they're gonna finish, they'll like amp up the crowd and hype them up and stuff. And so that's what I'm saying. It'd be the same thing for you of like,
it's a weird merit that gets.
It's a weird thing. Yeah,
that gets placed on rounds. Like I was listening to somebody today, and they go, Ezra shot like a 958 rated round. That's crazy. He hasn't done that and blah blah blah. I'm like, no, he hasn't gotten like last place ever. Like, what are we talking about? If there was no ratings, you would just be like, he played bad. That was awful.
Played bad.
Done. Yeah. Next, like nothing to it. You get what I mean? But now we have like this weighted thing that we can be like, this is actually how bad he played, though. Can you believe this?
And it's not even accurate. That's the problem. It's like it changes from week to week.
The only reason it's good for, not good, but like decent for tour reasons, if you're looking at, and this is assuming, people aren't playing just a ton of A tiers or other tournaments. But if you're looking at just the tour, it is a pretty accurate tool to see like your average, how good of a player you are, on average, because everyone plays the same tournaments. We all have the same ratings. If they suck, it sucks for everyone. And so, but obviously where it gets bad is when.
I don't think that's accurate. I think if you play on the tour, then yes, of course they're going to say, this is how good you are on tour. But how good does your game travel when you go and play a smaller course somewhere else, or a course that you've never played before, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's good for like tour reasons.
Yes,
it's not good to like, you can't kind of go outside of that. And obviously it gets weird because some weekends it's only 4 points a stroke and sometimes 8 points a stroke. So that's where it gets a little bit weird. It was horrible.
Nice.
I mean,
it's the best round of my life. I 10-22.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah, but then it's also like impossible to shoot below 1,000 because everyone shoots like still better than 5 over,
And,
super
and
weird.
My counterpoint to that has always just been, you already have systems in place. You already have world rankings. You already have Disc Golf Pro Tour. So like if you wanted, like if I were to look at the Disc Golf Pro Tour rankings right now,
Probably get a pretty good idea where people sit.
I get pretty good. So these are the people that have been playing the best so far this year. You're number one, then Ricky, then Joseph Anderson, Evan Smith, Isaac Robinson, Casey White, Adam Hammis, Kyle Klein, Aaron Gossage, Sullivan Tipton.
Pretty accurate.
And I'd say if you looked at their ratings, you'd probably get the same. You probably wouldn't get too many outliers there. Now, obviously, the ratings do take into account all of last season.
Yeah, we're only 3 events in, you know.
So if you wanted to have a bigger picture, I guess you could do that. But yeah, I don't. It's just.
I actually have a question for you guys about something.
Yeah, hit us.
What can we do to get rid of the PDJ number bump when it comes to who gets a lead card?
Ooh.
What's the best fix for that?
Get old.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, I'm with you. I think that there's a few different ways that you get the bump.
It's like, how is that possible? We're still using that system. It's insane.
You have to use something. So
yeah,
like sometimes it's like hardest holes birdied in some like traditional golf tournaments that I've played. Like if you get like the hardest holes that are on the course and you tie with somebody and you birdied that specific hole, then you get the bump because you played, let's say, better. Like you got the hardest hole, therefore your score, you get, or a number of birdies, or there's different ways to do it like that. But
so the way the PGA Tour does it is they do first in, last out. So
that's nice.
It's just basically if you were on, let's say, lead card and you ended up shooting 10 under for the tournament after the third round going into the final round, and someone else on a different card finished their round before you and they're at 10 under, well, it's kind of like who shot better that day type of thing is what it ultimately ended up being. So whoever posts the score first goes.
Yeah, obviously it's not a huge problem, but there are times where it comes up and I'm like,
it is silly.
It's just it's insane that we still use that, because you could fix it like this. It could be world ranking. It could be pro tour standings, which would just be super
too long
easy
for us to fix it. We can fix it when I'm done.
Listen, it took them this long to get rid of the PDJ magazine, and in a good 5 to 7 years, we'll take care of this rule.
Perfect. Can't wait.
Yeah, the PDJ rule is a very, very interesting one. And it's one too, if you ask them why are they still doing it, they probably don't have a good answer.
That's the way we've always done it.
Yep. It's the way they always will do it. Yuli, Gary, you guys got anything else for Gannon?
I got the question. I want to ask him.
Oh, yes.
You save that. That's the good one to end on.
Yeah, you go, Gary.
There's a narrative. So the media thing, there's a narrative every week. And the narrative they've been pushing for forever now is that there's a new rivalry every single week. But the narrative that we're hearing this week is that you are playing the best disc golf of your life. It's the best you've ever seen. So I want to ask you, if 2024 Gannon Buhr steps up to the Gannon Buhr we see right now, who's winning the event?
I think it's pretty close. I mean, I think generally I'm better, because there were times in 2024 where like I look back and I'm like, okay, yeah, my forehand wasn't as big, it wasn't as good, or maybe my I started off my season in 2024 missing every single putt. So it's like it's kind of hit or miss. If we're talking about maybe like the ceiling and the potential, I feel like it's pretty similar. I think for me now, I just want to raise my floor. So I think maybe I might give the nod to myself now. Although in 2024, I found a really good rhythm of like, I just felt like I was myself. I felt like I could just play free. I wasn't worried about my form or anything like that. I was so confident. I come into events, and if I was down 7 after the first round, I'm like, well, doesn't matter. I'll still be on lead card the final round and have a chance to win. So, and I feel like, I kind of felt that way
this year already.
What's up?
Did that happen already this year though? Which event? What was it? Was it the last event that you were far off the lead after round 1?
Supreme Flight, I was 8 off the lead and lost by 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you didn't win it, but
yeah, but
had a chance.
Had a chance.
Yep.
gave myself a
back in.
chance. So I think, and it applies a lot more at the 4-round events for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this though. I think I'm been doing a lot better of a job of starting decent. Obviously, I didn't play that amazing Supreme Flight, but I think I only won one 3-round tournament in 2024, and I won 8 4-rounds. So I've already won 2 3-rounds this year. Obviously, we haven't played a 4-round tournament, but the 3-round tournaments are more of a sprint, and you have to really be locked in early. And that was something I always struggled with in 2024. So I think I've done a good job of that this year.
Could you imagine how many world titles Gannon would have if he was born back in like the 80s or 90s when they played like 17 rounds for the worlds?
I think they played 11 at one point.
You win by
Jeez.
50 strokes.
You win by so much.
That's
You win by
crazy.
so much. 11
Which,
rounds.
in
That's ridiculous.
1992, I believe the World Championships were held here in Charlotte, and they played Hornet's Nest.
That's cool.
Mm.
Look at that,
So
over
that-
30
that-
years,
there's some-
over
yeah,
30
there's
years
some
ago.
Rich history there at that part.
Nice.
All right, Gannon. The question is, when was your welcome to the league moment?
I don't know. I mean,
Playing
oh gosh.
locally? Was there anybody who just gave you the business? Was it when you came on tour?
I mean,
When he was 15, his mom had to drop him off at the tournament.
I definitely had like moments in AMs where I was like, I would go home crying for hours, but I honestly don't know. I mean, I maybe just getting like out drove by everybody my first year on tour, my first couple tour events, like just seeing just how far people were throwing and how confident they were and how consistently they could do everything. I think that was definitely something that was like, dang, these guys are like good, and they're like not even like, they're not surprised by it. It's just what they're doing. I don't know. I'd have to think about that a little bit more.
All right, next time I'll ask you again.
Okay.
I'm guessing it's not going to be a long time.
Crying for hours. Here's something that you'll like, Gannon. This is one of our longtime listeners. He says, I used to not like Gannon, and now I don't see how you can't like the man. What a great mind and competitor. Keep it up, Gannon.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I wish everyone had that. I wish everyone could
like
look
the
at it
best.
that way.
Well, there's another guy who said, why would you ever cry? No, I'm just kidding.
Was it Yuli?
No, but that's sometimes better than making instead of like having like a fan like that just all of a sudden discovers you. It's sometimes better to have someone that's like,
Yeah.
I couldn't stand this person, and then like have them come around.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could definitely see like in the past, like why I might have been hated on. But I think I've cleaned up all the, the way I've acted and stuff like that. And I think I like in terms of on the course,
you're always gonna get hate though.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I see there's so much. I mean, I read the comments for fun still, just because I find it funny. But I just see tons of comments, and sometimes it's a compliment on certain stuff that they're saying. But it is what it is, and I'll just try to be the best person I can be every day.
Every time you call a time extension, just call it a username from one of the comments. Like,
Yeah.
hey, this is for you.
And this person obviously doesn't know what they're talking about. He says, no one hated Tyson, Jordan, or Tiger. Are you kidding me?
What?
People hated Michael Jordan. People hated Tiger.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, no matter who you are, when you're at the tippity top, you're going to have people that just don't like it. And you just got to like kind of block those people out.
I have one last question. Have you grown since last year?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm still like same height.
Hey, how do you not know? Do you like ever put on pants?
No, I definitely don't do that. I definitely don't put on pants ever.
Behind his head a long time ago.
I haven't
You
worn
don't wear
pants in
pants? Like sweatpants?
Never. No, never. I just wear shorts every day.
What if it's cold? It's cold in Iowa.
Just stay inside. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It's like 70 degrees inside. I'm
How
not
many,
gonna wear
pair,
pants.
how many pair of pants do you own?
One.
One.
You own one pair of pants.
Yeah, it's right next to me. Yeah, I have one pair of pants.
It's right next to me.
What is the size?
I don't know. It probably doesn't really fit that well.
What if you're
You
what,
grew.
what happens if someone like invites you to a red carpet event?
I'm just gonna show up how I am.
We all saw that wedding picture.
No, the
I
wedding
didn't see
picture I had
it.
to wear pants. I had to wear pants. That was brutal. That felt foreign to me.
I'm with you on like jeans and dress pants, but sweatpants are awesome.
I love them.
Well, send me the links, bro, so I can cop some.
Walmart, brother. What do you mean links? Go to Walmart. They just have sweatpants. There's
They're probably not
that,
gonna
that special sweatpants that I get.
still know what
He's
to
a little
look for,
taller
man.
than you, Brody. He's a little
It's just
taller.
like it's like the way I view it. It's like a blanket around you. You have a 360 blanket. So like
All
you
right,
can-
well, I'll make some investments then.
like the majority of the clothes I wear around the house are sweatpants and hoodies. I go full 360 blanket as much as possible.
I'll have to look into it.
I'm just glad you don't wear pants while you play. Then I'd call you out as being a weirdo.
I was thinking about going no hat and pants, and no one would even recognize me.
Oh my gosh.
That would actually be funny.
Dude, that look weird.
I'll continue to make fun of Ezra for wearing pants. I will never stop it. Okay. Do you have any new pet peeves? I know you love the pet peeves. I don't know if you got any new ones. That popped up, but we definitely give you the chance.
I always feel bad. I feel like my pet peeves like can come off as like they might be mean. Also,
Well, maybe don't say those then.
well, I might say that. I'll still say one, I guess. I'll start with one. I don't think I said this last time. I hate people when they give you a fist bump and they like break your hand. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
I hate
I'm
literally
anti heavy handshakers as well. Same thing. Like when someone's like
yeah.
they dig their thumb into like your is that your metatarsal?
Metatarsals.
They dig it in there and they're like, "Nice to meet you," and I'm like, "Brother."
They just like overly squeeze or the fist bump. It's never like you see it coming. It's always like starts off slow and then just boom punch you. It's like, and I'm like, dude, like that's my throwing hand. Like I legitimately like have bruises sometimes. I'm like, dude, like that was way too hard.
You want me to
That
give you
one-
a pro tip? Want me to give you a pro tip?
Just
High five?
high five only.
No, side.
Side. Okay.
Side. 'Cause
Okay.
If they go hard here, it's fine.
We're good. Okay. I'll go
Give 'em
side.
Give them the side.
I'd say the other
Or
one
you
would
could, or
be
you could always just grab it. I like to do
Yeah,
the
that
grab.
works too.
That's
Use it as a
grab-
Grab it. Just
Your
grab it.
shift.
Give it a kiss. Give your hand a kiss. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Try
it's-
to
You
out
lost a
awkward
fan for
them.
life. Perfect.
I would say one more I have in this I would just be
Pan.
like sometimes there's just not people are not qualified for the job or the volunteer spot. I'll just say that.
Oh
Mm.
no!
Mm.
Oh no!
He said it. He
He's
said
going
it.
for the
Like-
You
60-year-old
almost got off the
volunteer.
podcast.
I
dude.
had to
You're
say it. I had to
almost-
say it.
The
He's
button
going for the
could have been
60-year-old
pressed.
volunteers. Oh,
It's just
Jimmy,
like-
Jimmy, I'm going out to help the disc golf tournament today. I can't wait to watch these young lads throw the
No,
disc.
just because I feel like sometimes it's like there's just obvious things you're not supposed to do. Like I heard a story this week on the island hole that the spotter was between the tee pad and the basket and he was just hit. Like, why is the spotter in front of the basket at any point?
He's trying to see.
You can see from behind the basket. I mean, it doesn't happen often probably, but I also feel like sometimes people just volunteer to like get the best view on the course.
Oh,
You know.
1,000%.
Oh yeah.
Which is like fair, but like if you're gonna
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that, like do your
I
research,
do.
like actually do do your best job you
Well,
can.
Yeah,
Why
I
can't the
think
fans?
I think this kind of goes back to the week prior of like why the heck is there not a spotter looking at the water line on hole 1 in the playoff? Like
Yeah.
that should be something that is taught. And so I do think there probably should be a little bit more.
I'm cutting you off.
One more,
little
I'm
more
doing it.
I'm
communication.
cutting you
I don't
off.
care. I'm saying it.
Say it.
Marshals need to like call other rules than just time extensions. Like
They're on
like-
vacation, brother.
like,
They're on vacation.
like I said it last time, like they need to be trained to like literally watch players' feet every single throw.
They're on vacation.
I'm not gonna call like you. I don't know. I just like I'm not gonna call a rules violation, but like on
You full
hole
front?
the par five. Let's just say the par five this week, where it goes straight and then straight dog leg left, almost more than 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Well, people were like landing in the middle of the fairway short, and then
Oh,
just lining up to the fairway, and their foot is 3 feet in front of their mini, and
Yeah.
the marshal is right there, and he's not calling that. Like, how is that possible? Like,
I think we just need a new rule. I don't know what the answer is yet, but I think there just needs to be a new rule when it comes to. You know what it is? You may throw. Let me throw us out. Let me throw us out. Could be a terrible idea. Let me throw us out. Let me throw us out.
I'll let you know if it's terrible or not.
Let me throw us out. I literally just thought of this, so it could be literally a terrible idea. Everyone has like a circle, a red circle or something, and you put it down,
Oh yeah.
and your foot has to be in that red circle.
Yeah, that's
Terrible
not
idea.
gonna that's not
Might
gonna
be,
work.
might be a terrible idea, but the way we currently have it set up, foot faults are like, it's just gonna be nearly impossible to call.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I don't like
that
water
one. It's
ball.
like that's just
What
one
about-
where you have to be more aware. You have to know like where your feet are at.
inside
you
a
know.
hula hoop. Inside a hula hoop.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have
could
a
be.
spot. It's behind your mini.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like,
It's invisible. It's invisible.
It's pretty.
I had a
it's
dream Aaron
invisible.
Gossage.
behind
I had a
your
dream Aaron
mini.
Gossage called me on a foot fault last night.
Oh no.
You could
Yeah.
do what they do in soccer, where the ref comes up and takes like the little white spray paint
Yep.
and spray paints the
Across the
thing.
line.
You just run up to everyone's disc and then just spray paint a little circle behind everyone's
Imagine what that
disc.
park would look like.
Dude, hazards
you go
everywhere.
in the wood, you throw the worst shot ever, and there's just a spray paint line there. You're like,
You just gotta try nudging the marshal. Hey, whoa, that's an interesting foot position he's got there. Don't call him out for anything. Now the marshal sees
go
that
to
he
take a
has to
leak
say
in the
something.
woods, and you find like a spray painted line. You're like, oh,
Like,
crap.
that's a bad lie. You got a bad kick.
Mm.
Oh, that's
I mean,
funny.
disc golf would be pretty goofy though if you did have like a marshal looking at everyone's foot before.
I
they
don't
throw.
want to promote people calling all kinds of foot faults all the time. It's just a waste.
Yeah, I mean that's one where like if this specific player was earlier in their routine, I would have said, hey, like watch your feet. I kind of caught it as they were like about to throw.
That's
But
possible.
usually I say, hey man, like just make sure your feet are lined up properly. 'Cause I'm not gonna pull the I forgot. It was called on Nico, I think one time. They like waited for the putt to go in the basket to call it.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a jerk move, I feel like, honestly.
Mm.
That's just how I look at it. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not that hard to just like look at the when obviously it's tough when it's like an action throw. Like you'd be like, okay, maybe they were in the box, maybe they weren't in the box where their like last foot stepped. But when they're like standing still, lining up, and the foot is
yeah,
2
that's
feet in
tough.
front of the mini, and it's
Mm.
clear as day, that's one where you could call it, and that would be completely warranted.
And
Do you think?
let me.
Do you
I
think
agree.
do you think this kind of stuff keeps our sport from like reaching that legitimized state where we make it to the Olympics?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of stuff that just is holding our sport back in general that are really simple, easy fixes. That they're going to be tedious, but we can do them to make them better. I mean, I think a lot of it could be like putting flags on baskets. Obviously, having a standard basket is the first thing. Having a standard size tee pad. Just like little stuff like that. I love the way that like when they paint the circles. Sometimes at majors they do that. I think it looks nice. Or doubling the amount of the whiskers, that way you can have a better visual. That's gonna look a lot better on camera as well for the viewers. Like just if we start with a bunch of little stuff, and we actually are on top of this and we fix some of the rules. By whether getting some of the advice from the players, and we all kind of come together to kind of make our not make our own rules, but kind of tweak them a little bit to make them as fair as possible. Then I think we can definitely go further. But we got to start making these steps at some point.
I think those are warranted. That's great. We just need better cameras. We just need to film it better. That's all it is.
Well, let's get a better cell service, whatever it is, because obviously the cameras are decent, obviously, because the Jomez pulls the same footage that they use on the DGN. It's just
You can't zoom though.
it's the zoom's fine. What do you mean?
A lot of times they cut to catch cam because they can't zoom. They say.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's true because they pull the same coverage from Jomez. This Jomez coverage is the exact same cameras.
But I'm saying, like, I think the best shot in disc golf is staying behind the shot.
Oh, me too.
Slowly
me
zooming
too.
in.
And they stop with the catch cam. That's after the flight.
They don't do that.
Flight.
They don't. What I'm saying is they don't zoom into the shot. As soon as the disc gets like too far, they just cut to catch cam.
We got to get him on the show. Get Jonathan on the show and ask him.
And also Kenny Nash. I got to answer Kenny Nash's question. He says, "Are you really benefiting that much from foot faults?" Here's the thing. You're not actually benefiting that much in the sense of like gaining a massive advantage to have like a better angle to the disc or any of that. It's more if one person is focusing on making sure they're not breaking the rules and they're not foot faulting, and then you have another person that doesn't give a rip and says, no one's ever going to call me. Those two things are massively different. When you're actually focusing on making sure your foot is behind your disc in the right spot and throwing,
it makes it hard to hit your line.
That is so much harder than if you're like, I actually don't care if I'm going to football or not because no one's going to call me. That's kind of where it is like some people are playing by a certain way. That makes it much harder.
Okay. So, one more question for you. Do you like the extension?
I personally like them. It's very, of course, but but we should have 5 more, but I think it's very relieving, and I think done correctly with a bit more, I guess, strict officiating, they do make a lot of sense. But I think I don't think players are really going to call it much more. I think the marshals have been doing a decent job of giving time extensions. Like, hey, that's going to cost one of your extensions. I loved it because like there's times like I know Supreme Flight like during the final round where it was nice to like call the extension and feel free. Like, okay, I can focus in. I can take my time and not feel like I'm doing something bad here. But I do think overall, I think it might have made the time rule a bit worse if we're talking about how people, I guess, view it. People obviously want people to play quicker, and I think I think it made it worse.
I haven't had any backups this year.
We had 20-minute backups.
Just said he had 20-minute gap.
The chase car waited for 30 minutes. They said on hole 12. Like, how does that even happen?
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah. They didn't take my idea.
Lost disc.
Well, that did happen, but I'm not sure how that turns into 30 minutes. So.
Yeah. Well.
The
only way to
call an extension on your lost disc.
Can I have 3 more minutes to find my disc?
Yeah.
The only way to fix pace of play is to actually have these PDGA marshals do their job and not be on vacation.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with all rules being enforced. Like, I don't think people understand that.
They just need to zip around and tell people. Like, here's the thing. If Gannon takes a minute to throw his shot, and it goes under the basket, and someone else takes 20 seconds to throw their shot and hits first available in the trees, and then it takes him 4 shots to get out. Gannon played that hole quicker.
I also walked my disc way quicker than everybody on tour.
That's what I'm saying.
My poor caddies.
The thing that matters the most, I just don't think our sport. Here's the thing, and people can come after me if they want. Disc golf is not a overly athletic sport. Okay, people that are overweight, that don't have the greatest hand-eye coordination, can be very good at disc golf. Our sport is not how fast can you make reaction time? How fast can you make a decision? How fast? Our sport is not about speed. Okay, it's not that. So I don't understand why we're trying to make it that of where it's like, hey, let's throw up a shot clock and have everyone have to make a decision, and we're gonna see Gannon be like, give me this.
I've done it before. I
know, and that's the stupidest thing ever. It looks so stupid.
I lost a stroke at Worlds because I was like in the crap, And I'm like, I was in the worst spot ever. And I'm like, I took my driver and like threw it left-handed or something out of the fairway. I was like, it was a horrible shot. Like
it's just so stupid when we have people, and we know there's people on tour that walk incredibly slow, that stand behind the tee pad and are just like this. When it's their turn to throw, it's me. Oh, let me. What am I doing here? There's people on tour that do this. That is the problem. Not someone standing over their disc for 45 seconds trying to figure out what shot they're doing once in a while. I don't know. Also putting too. If you have a putt inside a circle, you should not take 30 plus seconds to putt.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of the.
Okay, so then let's just ask the question: why do you take so long? What's going on in the brain? Like what?
Who takes? You think Gannon takes? I don't think Gannon takes that long. I don't know why people always
you're
come
the
out.
only
I don't-
person. Okay, let's stop. Let's. That comment does not count, Brody. You don't
Which
think
comment?
that he takes too long. He doesn't anymore. But let's say in the past when you've taken over a minute to throw a shot, and the rule clearly said 30 seconds.
Fair.
What's going through your mind to where that time, goes by so fast in your mind, and then you're sitting there and you're not aware of the situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like, I don't know. I mean, answering this is kind of like, I feel like putting me in a weird spot, but like, I feel like I just want to make sure I'm making the correct shot, making the right decision, make sure I'm executing it properly. Yeah, I mean, I would say generally, like, I definitely take a little bit longer when I'm like off the fairway.
Does it feel like it goes quick, or does it feel like you're absolutely in the cooler, like being like
It goes quick if you ever have to like step off the lie and go like maybe look around a corner, even if you take like 5 steps out of your lie, and then by the time you get back down and maybe chalk your disc, line up a couple shots, like it's already been like 20 seconds. Like if you are doing, if at any point you leave your lie, it just like you're over it pretty much. So and then obviously like high pressure situations. I mean, like I said, I don't know how to put it without seeming like a rule breaker, but like, because they're not enforcing it that strictly, I'm not breaking on purpose, but like, let's just say they did enforce it extremely strictly. I would say I generally would be probably playing quicker when I would get into like rough spots.
Yeah.
So that like I said, I'm all for extremely strict rules when it comes to enforcing them, but it just needs to happen is the problem.
Well, and I think that too is the problem, is it cannot be enforced fairly. So it's like, across, you can't all of a sudden just say, okay, we're just going to target this guy and call every single time Gannon takes longer than he's supposed to, and then not care about anyone else on the course. But I will say this: I think a lot of times it comes down to a production issue, right?
For 100%.
Because if you're standing there at 30 feet and you're just chalking for a minute, pumping for a minute, that's boring as heck. And it's the commentator, the live commentator's job and the production's job to somehow make this interesting. If they're just not saying anything and watching, and like the cameras aren't changing and nothing's happening, boring as heck for the viewer. Now, if you and your caddy are over a shot and we're hearing you talk about what you're trying to do and what you're scared about and what you're fearing and what you're like, that's interesting. So I think those two things are very different, even though they might take us the same amount of time. Is that fair, Yuli?
Yeah.
And that's my whole point, is like, I think disc golf is fascinating if we can hear these players think and talk about what's going on.
Let's get the hot mic out.
Mic them up.
And we don't need them to play in 10 We don't need them to play in 10 seconds. But that's also a problem with disc golf, is a lot of people don't talk to their caddies. So everything that's going on is just up in here.
If they have a caddy.
Yeah, if they have a caddy. And so like now it's all of a sudden like we're just seeing someone like stand and look, and we don't know what the heck's going on. So we almost need to start stroking people that don't talk out loud of what they're thinking.
Yes,
that's what
genius.
I like that.
If you stand there for 5 seconds and don't say anything, stroke.
You're done.
Yeah.
You just have to be like, I hope I don't hit the band. Oh my God, if this hits the band and rolls away, this would be terrible. That's great television.
I'm gonna join the Brody Pro Tour.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not doing it.
You just
No.
have to throw a
Dark
hula hoop
Dark
down
Horse
on the
Tour.
ground
No, that's
every
too much.
time. You have to
That's too
you have to
much.
carry a hula hoop with you the whole round.
I'm just gonna be running around with
That's a great idea.
spray painting everything. Oh, it's gonna be fantastic.
Someone in chat said after you get past 30 seconds, then heckling is allowed.
Yeah, there you
Ooh.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Gannon, we'll give you this time now. Shout out sponsors, whoever you want to shout out.
Yeah, shout out Discmania, obviously. And shout out Squatch Disc Golf. I just met up with them yesterday. We got something cool coming out, so be on the lookout for that.
Awesome.
Definitely Cardinal Disc Golf gonna have a couple new jerseys coming out for my wins. And then my In the Bag just dropped on YouTube if anyone's curious what I'm throwing for the 2026 season. So
Nice.
I say check that out. And yeah, thanks to all the fans, supporters out there as always, and thanks to you guys for having me on.
Of course, appreciate you jumping on.
Congrats,
and
buddy.
I'll probably see you up there at Champions Cup. I'll probably come up on the weekend.
Sweet. I'll see you there.
All right, take it easy, brother. There you have it. Gannon Buhr, your Queen City Classic. Queen City Classic. Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
For a
I was a
tournament.
fan.
Queen City.
Queen
Classic.
City Classic. I like
Trophy
the name.
was pretty good too.
Yeah, it's not. You know,
Yeah.
I'm retired.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm retired. All right, let's bring it. Pick 'em. Let's see what happened.
Oh, we brought it.
The devastation.
Yeesh.
There's your boy Dickerson. That was a game.
There's your boy Matty O.
Yeah,
Julie, I went with your boy Matty O.
That's right.
What happened there?
Wait. Where'd Goose finish though?
I'm pretty sure you made the comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did Goose lose to Chris Dickerson 2 weeks in a row? That's what I thought.
I'm
I'm not
pretty
sure.
sure
I don't
you
know, man.
said that if Matty O plays his best, he's better than everyone.
What?
Did you not say that? I think you
I
did
don't
say
think
that.
I've ever said that.
I thought you said that. I thought
You
you
have
said
to
like
clip,
Matty O.
someone clip that and send it
Let's
to
cut
me.
to the clip.
Did he
Yeah,
not
cut-
say, Gary, did he not say that when he was like, when Matty O's at his best, he's better than everyone?
I don't know if he said better than everybody, but he was hyping up.
Because you remember I was saying like he doesn't throw that far, and he's like, oh,
No, I was saying he
he
rips.
bombs. And when
He
he's at
does.
his best,
Low ceiling.
he's better than everyone.
I've never said that. Now that you said that, no way.
That is in my head. I swear you said that. So like last week, I was like,
Well,
we
he's
got to
the
go
best.
Matty
He's
O.
the
What if he
best.
plays the best? What if he plays his best disc golf? He's gonna crush.
Win by 100. That is so funny.
So yeah, they ended up only getting 1 point. So here's the other funny thing. The third FPO player they paid the $1 out of, I guess Hunter did some research and thought, because I guess she had a really good previous tournament, and after round 1 she was in dead last, and he said something along the lines of like, how does someone go from like
Trending.
having an incredible week to the next week just being in dead last? But I think she's very young.
Yeah.
So
Yes, she is.
I think that's your answer. Is it's like,
Okay.
It's a good thing they didn't go
Did
with
we
their
see
first
the lead
picks.
there. That looks nice.
was their first picks worse?
They chose Isaac and Ezra, I think, and who was it? Yeah, their first picks were brutal. Yuli, what they did this week was they chose their gut reaction picks. Then they said we can't choose them at all, and then they repicked again. they're over there experimenting right now.
They get a week off
They're
though.
so in their own heads. It's
They're
They get
testing
a-
it though, because this upcoming event they're going to choose Gannon, and they'll know for sure if it's a curse, then Gannon's not going to play well.
What? How much are we up by after 3 tournaments?
100.
100 points.
We're up 100 points already. Oh gosh, they got 7 points. We had a terrible week, and we still got them by 36 points.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're going to get
man.
Gannon for a
Oh.
major. I think the major points are doubled, right? So
Yeah,
they'll have a chance.
That's a good one. But if we get 2 guys that are close, I like our
So we
chances
can't
as
pick
well.
Gannon this week.
No.
Correct.
Well, yeah, if they stick with their word there, But
Alright.
yeah, pick them doing good. Anything else, boys?
No.
Not really.
Groovy. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight. Appreciate all of our live viewers in chat. You guys always make the show a lot more fun. Thank you to our guests tonight, Gannon Buhr, for jumping on. Thank you for Mike behind the scenes, for Gary and Yuli and myself, as always. We'll see you guys next week.